Hey, hello everybody. Welcome back. Just a Thought. I'm Joseph Tudisco, presenting Acting Like a Business seminar with session 11, Agents and Managers. All right, so right about now, we've kind of gotten to the middle of the pack where more actors are in a situation to really advance their career to a point where they are really making strides to be a working actor. Previously, we talked about the initial stages of the business. A lot of you working for free, and you get to a point where you have to make a decision that I'm not working for free anymore. I have pretty much that mentality behind my career. Occasionally I do. Depends on the project. It depends on who's involved. I won't say never because I have done it recently. So here's a point where hopefully you've got some work, some credits. You have a decent resume. You have your tools of the trade. You have your videos. You have your clips. They're all in play. And the next step is to find an agent. I gotta find an agent. When am I going to find an agent? What do I got to do? How did you get an agent? How did you get your agent? Do you think you could recommend me? What about if I come over and send this to your agent? Could you bring it to your agent? And you get actors that do this. I don't get involved with it, first off. I say, no, my manager doesn't like it. I'm going to get myself into a bad way with him if I do. So please, if you want to send your stuff in, that's fine. But don't ask me to do that. And I say the same to you guys. Don't do that. Don't get yourself caught up with other people and be responsible for what their actions are. Okay, you might ruin your relationship with your agent. So what is an agent? Legally and technically, a talent agent is really a talent employment agency dealing with actors. A valid agent or agency needs to be licensed by the city. They need to get a license. They need to leave a $10,000 bond. And you say, well, why do they need a bond? Well, if they fail or the agency collapses or they're a little bit, little fugazi, as we say, they need to have money on hand to pay the people that are due money from their work, their agency, and whatnot. So one way they can do it is to be licensed by the city and or be franchised, have a franchise tag either from SAG-AFTRA or Equity, which means that they are working in conjunction with the unions and are under certain stipulations that the union requires of them when they do these GSCs, a general service contract now. There's always been a lot of problems with the agents, but most of the top agencies abide by the conditions that SAG-AFTRA and Equity do require them. Okay, an agent is only allowed to take 10%, no more. Ever. They can't take more than 10% by law and by union status. Now, there are a lot of people who call themselves agents. First off, they probably don't have a license or they're not franchised with SAG, but they'll call themselves an agent. They'll ask you for 15%. That's a manager. 15% is what managers get. I'll get into managers shortly. Or they want you to join their website, or they want you to pay them a monthly fee, and they'll submit you. But these people don't get the breakdowns. Because in order for you to get the breakdowns as an agent or a manager, you have to either have the city license or the franchise tag from SAG, or managers need to belong to the two management conferences, one on the West Coast, one on the East Coast, and or direct working with an agent, which they require letters from the agent to submit to the breakdowns. It's not an easy task to get the breakdowns. It's very, very difficult, and so it should be. So if you're dealing with someone who says they're an agent and they don't have an office and they're meeting you for coffee, a friend of mine went through this recently. It was actually a manager, and he really took it right behind the head. And they were asking you to invest money, to pay monthly fees. Don't do it. They're not valid. Look, they may help some people here and there, but it's a numbers game with them. And they're in the business of making money from you, not in the business of making you money so that you can pay them a commission. Any agent worth anything will have the the confidence enough to take a commission from you for work that they've helped you gather in the process of doing their job. So that's what an agent is. Now, how do you get an agent? There are so many different ways to get an agent, and I think most of the times, people that go after the agents, constantly have it on their mind, they're the ones that get in trouble. You can't just don't go with an agent simply because you need an agent. Don't do that. Freelancing is one thing. You want to freelance with 3 or 4 different agents to get a chance to kind of get to know them, develop a relationship, see what they're doing for you. But when it comes time to sign with an agent, you better be damn sure that this is someone you really want to work with. You have to have something of a communication with them. You have to like them. I mean, they have to be offering something other than just putting their name on your resume. And I always say, and I developed a knack, even with managers, I'm going to interview them as much as they're going to interview me. I know we go in, it's the first time, we're nervous, we don't want to say the wrong thing, we don't want to alienate them, whatever they say, yeah, okay. Be careful, because an agent can hurt you. A legitimate agent can hurt you as much as it could help you. When you sign with an agent, they're going to get 10% of everything you do. Now, you can either sign commercially or theatrically, or both. And anything you do or get on the outside, even with a manager or somebody else or on your own, they want 10% of it, and rightfully so. They do that because you've signed with them. Okay, so be careful with agents. Now, how do you get an agent? Well, there's a lot of different ways. I would suggest that you pick maybe 6 to 10 agents that you've heard about or that have good reputations, or that your friends maybe are working with and you hear good things from them, and send them your headshot and resume. That's the easiest and quickest way. You want to send a cover letter, that's fine. 50% like it, 50% don't like it, 50-50. But if you do, keep it short and sweet. Don't get into, hi, I'm Joseph, and I've been pursuing acting, and I've gotten some wonderful comments from the theater and this theater, and I did a wonderful production, down in Brooklyn, and you go on and on and on about, trying to sell yourself. The only thing that's going to make that agent bring you in for a meeting is your resume. You're either going to get called in from your resume because you've worked a lot and you have some casting directors on there, or projects from casting directors that are pretty, known, or you have such killer training from major schools, Yale, Juilliard, then they'll call you in. So if you're going to send a cover letter, and you're going to say, well, don't I need to let them know why I'm sending my headshot? No, they know. You don't think they get a headshot and they go, headshot and resume, gee, I wonder what do they want? They know. But if you do send a cover letter, very, very short and sweet. Hi, my name is, so-and-so. I've been working quite a while as an actor. I'm looking for representation. I would love to be able to send you some postcards to update my career as I move forward. And if you're interested in any report, call me, and I would love to show you some footage and video that I do have. Thank you. Boom. Done. Now you better have the video. If they call you for whatever reason, and all of a sudden they want, can you send me some clips? It's like, what am I gonna do? What do I do? How do I go? Did I get somebody? I got them, but I gotta split them up. I can't send them the whole thing. Make sure you have it and play. Be professional. Don't make them wait 3 weeks. I've seen it happen. They go, forget about it. They don't want to deal with that. You got to send it to them when they want it. Sending a postcard. But when you send a postcard, please don't send a postcard saying, hi, it's me again. I'm in Florida right now on vacation. I just wanted to say hello, and you're on the beach, and don't just send a headshot. A postcard just to say, hey, what's happening? Don't do it. What you want to do is send it and say, listen, I just booked a role in a small film, a short film. I'm working in a showcase. I'm doing a showcase, on Theater Row. If you'd like to come, please give me a call. I'll get tickets for you. And that's what you do. I just had a great call back with Law and Order. I didn't get the job, but I had the call back. So these are things that you want the agent to know. You keep them abreast of how your career is growing, and hopefully at some point, in the beginning they may go, eh, 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 and then eventually they're going to go, oh, he's working again. Let me, let me give him a call. Can you send me your stuff again? Can you send me some footage? Come in, let's sit down and talk. But be prepared to have everything you need. I've seen people walk in the office that I was in, and they have a headshot and a resume, and I would say to them, because I used to collect all that stuff as they were coming. The managers were too busy to see people on walk-in, and I would say, well, you should staple it together. He goes, no, it's the only headshot I have. I have to get copies made up. What are you, serious? You have to have everything in place. Okay, you got to be professional. You got to make that agent feel that you're working with him as much as he's working with you. Now, freelancing is fine. If you want to freelance with several different agents, and whoever gets you that job, that's fine. But a lot of agents want to sign, and the reason why, a lot of people say, why can't they just freelance with me? The reason why is because if they work hard and they have connections, and they get you to an audition, let's say for the following, and you go in. And maybe you get a call back. Maybe the casting likes you, but you don't book it. And then 4 or 5 episodes later, the other agent gets you into the following because the first agent got you the connection. So that's why agents and managers want to sign you. And you can't blame them for that. They need to protect their work. So now, if an agent does want to sign, you got to make sure that that's the person you want to work with. If you've been freelancing with them and they've been getting you out there, then you have what I like to say, you've been dating, and you see that the relationship is going. So now you can sign or get married. Usually they'll sign you for a year or 18 months. But you got to be careful because sometimes you can get lost. If it's a really big agency, you can get lost and swallowed up, and they forget who you are, and then you got to go through the process with the unions trying to get released from their contract or agreement with you if they're SAG-AFTRA franchised. SAG does have a stipulation so many months if they haven't gotten you out there. And listen, agents don't call you in for work. I hear so many actors say, oh, they never call me in for work. They never call me in for work. It's the casting director that calls you in. The agent can only suggest maybe, he's a good young actor, you should check him out, you should meet him. And that's what they do. They try and get you in that way. But if the casting director doesn't want to see you, it's not the agent's fault. Maybe your photos aren't up to par, your resume isn't up to par. And sometimes it's your fault. Okay, so remember that. The other thing is if you're working with an agent, you're signed with an agent, be careful. You need to be available. And I got a whole session talking about being available and making a living on this business where I include this whole concept of being available. I know you have daytime jobs, a lot of you, and it's hard to get out. But I'll tell you, if you can't make an audition, you're in big trouble. And this goes for managers too. If you keep, I can't. Can they do it at 5:30? No, they can't. It's a day player role. It's 3 lines. Casting isn't going to juggle their schedule and juxtapose appointments because you can't make it because you're working. You need to be flexible. You need to be able to get out and get to the audition. And I wouldn't make too many requirements on your agent about changing time. They're going to get tired of that. They don't need to go back and forth, and it sounds just like that's your problem. So understand that you need to be available and be flexible. Now, if you have another audition, that's a different story. If you're signed with the agent should know that, and he would work even beforehand. So that's the whole concept of getting an agent. And then they'll call you in if they want you. Don't bother them. Don't pick up the phone. Hi, did you get my postcards? Hi, did you get Hi, did you get that? They can't be doing this for you. The other way to get an agent is doing a showcase. I know it's not paying, but it's the preface to getting to the point where you want to be paid. Remember, reason why you do a showcase is so that you can meet people, meet agents, meet casting directors to help you to get paying work. Because a showcase, you're not getting paid. You might get a stipend, but that's just a basic expense for you to do the show. So if you're doing showcases, hopefully you can invite agents, you can invite casting directors, you can invite all the industry people, and hopefully you've kept a list of all of those people so that you can let them know you're doing a showcase. It's very difficult for an agent to get to a showcase. The only times they really go if it's a big, it has a lot of hype to it, or one of their talent is in the show and they want to go see their talent. So that may help you doing showcases, okay? But remember, I know too many actors who turn down opportunities for paying work through an agent. I can't, I got a showcase, I'm in Tech Week. And it's like, what? I'm getting, why are you doing a showcase? Well, so I could, meet people who can put me in a position to get paying work. So don't turn down an opportunity to get paying work because you're doing a showcase. Yeah, you got it backwards. I don't get that. And you'd be surprised how many, well, I'm committed. I've given my word. Listen, when you're doing a showcase, if you're in a situation where you're going out for auditions, you let them know, listen, I am a working actor, and I do this, and I've lost many a showcase. If I get a paying gig, I'm going to go. So you need to have a contingency plan if I can't go up. And I let them know, and they're appreciative, but sometimes they go, they can't take that chance. We're a showcase, we can't afford to have a stand-in, or an understudy, I should say, and all of that. So that's what the agents are about, and that's what you need to know. Don't get stuck with an agent you don't like. Don't sign with an agent simply because I got to have an agent. I got to have an agent. I got to have an agent. I want an agent. I don't care. Anybody. I don't care who it is. I'm going to get an agent. Be picky. Be very, very picky. It could make or break you. Now, managers, on the other hand, a lot of them will belong to either two conferences. There's the Talent Managers Association, I believe that's it, TMA out on the West Coast, and then there's the Northeast Conference of Managers on the East Coast. A lot of managers belong to that. They pay dues. They have a code of ethics. Most managers will take 15%, but they can take more. Okay, they can. And the traditional manager was someone who took on a handful of talent and helped them with their career. They weren't active in actually submitting you for work on the breakdowns. Today they do. That's part of what they do. But a lot of them work with agents. A lot of them will get you work through an agent, and in which case you're going to pay an agent commission and you're going to pay a manager commission. And I know a lot of actors go, oh, I got to pay 25%. I don't know if I'm going to do. I don't want to do that. Well, think of it this way. 75% of something is worth a heck of a lot more than 100% of nothing. I gladly, I have a Delta commercial running, and I'm paying an agent and my manager, and I'm more than happy to do it, okay? So don't be afraid of that. Now, managers will more so tend to be able to scam people. Not all of them. My manager, I love him. He's actually a very good friend, and I trust him wholeheartedly with anything he says. And when you have that relationship, it's a good, solid base for you to free your mind and go out and do your work. But there are a lot of people who call themselves managers, and they want to, and I addressed this earlier, they want you to submit through Actors Access using their name. That's only because they can't get the breakdowns. And they want you to do the work, and they want to sign. A friend of mine signed a contract, and it was just a nightmare to get out of it. And be careful, okay? Be careful. There's usually standard clauses. Don't get caught up into any crazy stuff with managers about paying dues and owing them money if you decide to leave, and paying for postage and paying for submissions. And a lot of people do that. Don't get caught up in that. If they're not willing to take a 15% cut on you, for whatever you book, then they're not working for you. They're just working for that monthly fee. There's also a situation where there's a plus 10 or a plus 20, and it's such a confusing situation. A lot of actors don't understand what that is. I'm going to do a whole scenario on that plus 10, or with print, where it usually comes along with a plus 20. Now managers can work on everything across the board. Some agents who are SAG franchise will not work on non-union projects because SAG does not want them to, nor do they want the actors to. their own membership who are SAG after actors or equity actors to work on non-union projects, because it undermines the collective bargaining agreement, and the more people that can use the talent will not be a SAG signatory project. So the franchised agents will not work on non-union, but the managers might. The managers might work on print. They might work on non-union commercials, the whole right across the board. They may do a whole assortment of things. Some managers will just work on hosting, which is a whole different area altogether. So remember, the managers and the agents, it's two different approaches. Is one better than the other? Not necessarily. Combined, it could be a good thing. Your manager will take control of all the things that you should do and make sure your schedules are open when the agents want to book you on something if you're working with an agent and a manager. So all those things are good, all right? Just be careful with the scams that are out there with the managers. Again, managers are great. They're absolutely wonderful if they're in your corner and they're really working with you. And again, like anything else, there are bad agents and managers, and there are good agents and managers. I know some agents I wouldn't even want to be in the same room with them because they're just so arrogant and obnoxious and condescending. And you've probably run into them at some seminars, but I don't want to. Sometimes that's just the way they are right then, there in the moment. So I don't want to put a blanket over everything. Some of the agents are wonderful. I've met some great agents and great managers. But remember, be careful. Be very, very careful. So I think I'm going to end with that. And hopefully this will give you a little insight as to agents and managers. Don't rush it. Don't feel that you got to have it under any conditions, because that's not true. But once you do get an agent or a manager, it doesn't mean you should stop working for yourself and stop promoting yourself and continue to do the things, especially with the casting directors and mailings and whatnot that you do. Because you have to help the agent and manager help you. Don't say, I'm done. Now I could just wait for the phone to ring. Don't get caught up in that, okay? Stay well, much success, stay busy, stay focused, and that is a wrap.